Welcome back to another breakdown video. Now in my last video I had Dustin Poirier video against Conor McGregor's workout and I loved it. But that footage was from about 6 months ago. It was actually prior to the Conor McGregor fight. So I reached out to Phil. I go, bro, where's the new footage? I want to see Dustin training. And he says it's coming. Guess what? We got it. Let's go to the video and break it down. All right, now in this video, it's about 50 seconds long. It's kind of chopped up clips of his workout. Not sure if it's in a day or in the week's workout, but let's watch the video. I'm gonna rewind it, play in slow motion, pause, and break it down into detail. So let's watch this together. Nice. So once again, this is Phil Daru on Daru Strong. Go check him out. Great videos, great programming. I won't say too much here because I got a lot to say coming up after we watch this video. Once again, these are just very short clips of, I'm sure, a very long workout. We're approximately probably 5 to 6 weeks away from the fight. All right, now we're gonna watch this video in slow motion, and I'm probably gonna pause in several different parts and explain it more in detail of what is actually happening. These are great movements. I highly recommend any athlete to observe them and try them. And it's also really good to know why you're doing these movements and not just doing the movements to do them. So I'm gonna break it down in detail and look and tell you what they're looking to accomplish here. So as we start off, I want you to know that even Phil says in his Instagram post, he's looking to improve Dustin's speed and power in the different planes of motions. We have 3 different planes of motion. We have the frontal, which is side to side, sagittal, which is forward and back, and transverse, which is rotational. Now let's watch these videos knowing that he's looking to train Dustin in those 3 planes of motion and in an explosive speed and power fashion. So let's go and watch this video here in slow motion. And as you see in these first couple movements, he's prepping his nervous system. These are great movements to kind of start off a workout, getting somebody moving quickly in different directions. So we had frontal, backwards, lateral movements. Okay, here as we transition into the hurdles, what we're looking for is we have two different main types of muscle fibers. Our fast twitch and our slow twitch muscle fibers. Our fast twitch are our very explosive, strong muscle fibers that we look for to use in those explosive movements, but they fatigue very quickly. And then we have our slow twitch muscle fibers that are more endurance fibers. So as an athlete, especially as a fighter, it's a lot of stop and go explosive movements. So it's a really good idea to really focus on explosive white muscle fibers or fast twitch muscle fibers. Okay, so we have here Phil and Dustin training these explosive fibers, exploding out of the ground, sticking that landing. So he's going from a stop to an explode. Nice. In a controlled pattern. This isn't chaos. You can also do that in reactionary explosiveness. So he's got to explode once, but also reactive explosiveness on that second jump too. Nice, very explosive, love it. All right, now what we have here is a directional change. We have Dustin exploding backwards and then transitioning to a forward drive. So we have Dustin exploding backwards with the medicine ball, change directions and going forward with like a takedown. Nice right hook and a takedown, a nice shoot. So explode backwards, drive forward. With speed, everything has to be explosive. All right, so I'm gonna use my pen here. We're gonna break this down because I love this particular movement, explaining this. This isn't just a ball toss. This is challenging the transverse plane. So the turning or the twisting, the rotation. All right, so let's rewind this a little bit. I want you to know we've got 3 actually workloads here. So we have Phil tossing the ball in this direction to Dustin. Dustin has to receive it, slow it down, agility, change direction, and explode back in the other direction. And then, after he explodes that way, he continues with the other direction with a right hook. Change of direction, explode, boom, nice right hook. All right, so also what I want you to notice here is we have a stretch reflex in our muscles. So that antagonist muscle, the opposite muscle of the one that's working, is usually shortening or lengthening while the other one is contracting. So as he throws this ball, one side is contracting, the other one is lengthening like a rubber band. He has to snap that rubber band in both directions, so changing direction. Okay, so here we've got him receiving. Once again, Phil tossing the ball to him. Phil tossing the ball this direction. Boom. Dustin changing direction explosively. And then driving forward with a left cross. Boom. All right. Next movement. We've seen this in the last video, but this is a great movement for athletes. These are banded deadlifts using the trap bar. All right, so what we use the trap bar for is because you can actually get down into a squat a little bit more deeper and you can change the angles a little bit more than with a straight bar. So a trap bar is really good, plus you get a little bit elevation with the handles as well, so you're not going quite as low. This looks to be about 230 or so with the deadlift bar, but these bands are what are called accommodating resistance, which means it'll give you more weight as you stretch that band at the top. So those bands at the bottom aren't putting much tension at all, but at the top of the movement, that 230 changes to probably, with these particular bands, close to 300 pounds or plus. Okay, so twofold. As he gets stronger at the top of the movement, the weight gets heavier. And also, it helps an athlete train accelerating through the range of motion. So now as Dustin stands up aggressively and explodes, if he had regular weight, he would actually jump off the ground. So to prevent that, what we do is these bands help to slow down momentum so that as he stands up, it's a continually stopping the momentum and resistance so he can still speed through the movement without having to slow down to stand up. Okay, so let's watch this in slow motion. He explodes. The band gets heavier and prevents him from jumping. So exploding, looks like he's putting multiples together. Awesome. All right, now this is without a doubt my favorite movement that they do in this particular series. What we have is some shadow boxing going on with a belted squat. These belted squats are in most private gyms. Very rarely do you see them in the big gyms, but most private gyms we have these. Okay, so what we have here is a squat without the weight being up here on the shoulders so that your spine is under load. We actually now have the weight on the belt around his hips so that his spine is not under load. Much better, much safer for athletes, especially when you're dynamic and moving. All right, let's remember, big thing to remember is a bent angle is potential power. So if we want to know what muscles are working, we just have to look at the angles of the body. All right, so for Dustin, we have these are the two main muscle joints that are working: the hip and glutes and the quadriceps. The ankle is also working there, but we're not going to focus on that as much. All right, so we have two primary joints that are working during this movement. Anytime we have an extension or flexion, we know those are the joints that are working. So what I want you to do is watch as he's going through this movement, the extension and flexion of those knee joints. Okay, so in this, what we like to call a power squat position, usually an athlete does not have to go any lower than this. This is pretty much the effective range of motion for an athletic squat. So he doesn't have to go much deeper. And he's left-handed. He's in his stance. So he's getting to use his proper stance and also basically performing a squat. So his quads and glutes are firing. Every extension and flexion that he does. So he's weaving back and forth here. Those quads and hips are firing. Now also, when he's not moving, he's still under load. So unless his knees and his hips are locked out completely, he is still isometrically working those movements. So they're pulling down on him. And so I want you to notice, as he's sparring, he's got that extension and flexion. And right here, even with those short movements, he's bringing his feet off the ground, stressing the ankles as well. And the quads and knee are slightly movement and definitely under load. So isometrically, those joints are working as well. And as we know, as you fight, one of the first things that go are those legs. Those legs fatigue fast. So this is a great endurance stimulation for those legs too. So now we've got the slow twitch muscle fibers as well going on this, just to even keep the continual resistance on him. I'm not sure how long he was on this, but these are great for strength and endurance. Nice little shadow boxing, under load. The stress is not hurting at all, so we got that nice weave going on. Great job, Dustin. Okay, that's my breakdown. I hope you enjoyed it. Great workout. Good job, Phil. Look for more of this to come in the future. I want to leave you with this. Today's verse is for those young ones. Colossians 3:20. Children, obey your parents in everything. This pleases the Lord. Peace. I'm out.